You're watching the Ram Pump Wizard. In today's Ram Pump video, I get to do a collaboration with the Stoney Ridge Farmer, a cattle farmer in North Carolina that has a need for a ram pump. Now keep in mind as you watch this video, we're installing the pump into a small pond. Normally, whenever you have a ram pump, you need to have a water source that replenishes itself. And so even though we're using a pond as the source, there is a creek feeding that pond and leaving the pond. So the water source, even though it's a pond, it's basically just an extension of the creek. So keep that in mind. You do have to have flowing and falling water. The style ram pump that's available at Land to House has a horizontal orientation, which means if it flips over like this, water will fill up in the pressure tank and it's just not going to work like it should. And so we have got a treated decking board, and we're going to use some of this plumber's tape to mount this to the board, just using some exterior screws, and that will hold it upright. And it's also going to allow us to lock this down with some rebar. So we've got a couple of pieces of rebar right here with a little crook on it, and we'll just tap that down into the ground and prevent this from jarring around.
I'm gonna hold this up while Seth sets the screws in. Seth is a cheapskate.
Man.
We got this much strap material to hold this.
I'm like, 50 cents is all you get.
I need him here all the time so we can have fun. He's got the shortest screws that Home Depot sells, and this much strap material. This stuff costs at least $8 for a roll that's 200 feet long.
Hundreds of feet.
Yeah, he's got a piece that big. He had the rebar idea, and you had a board already made at the house, right?
Yep, it's sitting there now. The main thing is when you do mount a ram pump, you got to get to these unions here, and so if you use too much, you just can't get to them.
Yep, so what he's saying here is sometimes this will clog up with trash, and this is a union. You just loosen it up right here, and just like so, and get the trash out. And you make sure you hang on to that little, what do you call that, O-ring?
Yep.
Right? This will drive down in the ground. Hopefully that's fat enough. Oh, look at that. That's a perfect fit right there.
Now the drive pipe needs to be between 25 and 100 feet. And so we're going to be using a black poly pipe that will sneak from the pond under the culvert tile and come down here to about this location right here.
All right, time to get wet, kids. This is the inlet side where the brass fitting is, right?
Yes, that's the drive pipe.
Drive pipe, okay. We're gonna turn it around. Get right over this. That's the direction we need to go, correct?
Yes.
Okay, fairly level, straight. We'll drive our rebar. The reason I put a hook on the end of the rebar is in case I need to take this back up.
Oh yeah, much better after it's warmed up.
Yep, just gonna run this along the fence line.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna put the coupling in between the two pieces of poly. Easy way to put the coupling on. You need it to be warm. Sometimes people even heat the pipe, right? But the pipe is warm enough. It's about 85 degrees. That's what my temperature gauge says. So we pressed it all the way up on there. When we put our clamps on, we want to make sure each clamp is facing the same way, so it's not a pain in the butt to take it apart.
We're going to be pulling water from a pond, which means we have to have a filtered intake. And we're just going to be using this 1¼ inch piece of pipe that is about 2.5 foot long. We're going to drill a whole bunch of holes in here and then put window screen on top, and it will give us a nice surface area for water to be pulled in and still catch that fine debris that may end up clogging the pump later. So.
Boy, this pipe's made of bionic material. There we go. Oh, look at that. Ruined.
A nice big hole in that one.
Now, so according to popular YouTube opinions, Seth doesn't know how to put Teflon tape on fittings. So I showed him how to do that just now. Are we pretty good with that now?
Yeah. Don't ask me, I'm not very good. I've only done it a few thousand times.
Yeah. So what we have here is a Dare float valve. And all it is, there's a little piece of foam inside here that floats, and we're gonna put it on this 170-gallon stock tank. Way back in here, it's in a safe area right there. This is a zip tie application tool. wherever this tank is where it's going to be, because it's going to have 170 gallons of water. So we want to make sure we've got it in the place that we want it. So this is a zip tie tool. Come on in closer. You take your zip tie, you put it in there. It's kind of hard to do without looking at it. Take your zip tie, put it in there just like that. Boom. We'll just go down here just to show you. We'll zip tie again on the top of the fence right here. All right, send her in.
All right, pipe's coming in.
Well, this thing's
already hit a snag.
Yep, you got a splice right there.
All right, trying it again.
Come on in. There you go, you got bite.
All right.
Look at there, here comes the pipe.
So we've got the 1/2-inch poly pipe through the culvert into the pond. We're gonna go ahead and get the pipe connected to the pump so that we know the length we need. And the excess we will be cutting off to connect the last little bit we needed from here to the pump for delivery pipe. Now, whenever you're using this black poly pipe, it's really important to prevent it from bouncing around with the water hammer effect. So either putting some rocks on it or using some kind of anchor to keep that in place will significantly increase your efficiency of the pump.
So what we have here, Seth was kind enough to do the hole drilling since we had too big of a bit on the drill and we busted the pipe earlier. There's a piece of broken pipe in here. I got a little too aggressive. Seth drilled the holes. This is going to be our filter, and we came up with a pretty cool system. This is a rope that is rated for marine applications, and these are marine floats. Okay, this is a typical float that you might see around a swimming area or something like that at the lake, and we found this bracket. This is a copper bracket, and we put that bracket in on the end of this what do you call that?
Pipe barb.
Pipe barb, yeah. So it's in there, it's settled, it's ready to go. I've got one more zip tie to do, and I'm gonna do a little demonstration over on my channel since you guys get all the fun stuff. But this is gonna be designed to float in the water, and we want our inlet to be somewhere between 12, 16, 18 inches down. So the ST, Team Seth Josh, is gonna wrap this. So what I have here, this is what you might put in the eaves of your house to keep bats out or to keep bugs out. We're gonna use this as a filter system for the inlet. Yep, there we go. We were smart, we brought scissors, because this stuff's easier to cut with scissors than it is with your teeth.
Learned that the hard way. So the main reason for doing this is if that second valve gets anything in it and holds the valve open,
yeah,
the whole pump loses pressure.
Gotcha. All right, so I'm following the instructions of Seth as Seth is doing the filming a little bit here. We're gonna take our 1/2-inch poly pipe. This is gonna be our intake, so I'm gonna push that in there as tight as I can get it. I think last time we did this, we didn't even use hose clamps, did we?
No, it was so cold.
That's why it
too.
came apart. Yeah, it was freezing cold. I'm gonna get a little bit wet here. This is the intake. What do you call it? The inlet?
Drive pipe.
What? Drive pipe.
Yep.
Drive pipe. Before we put the outlet or
Delivery pipe
on, I got to get in the pond. So let's go get in the pond. I hope that thing's recording. It feels kind of, it's like, I don't know how to describe this. It's kind of mushy. It's squinty. I think we need to go out further. Somebody's gonna. Cell phone's out of my pocket. Don't count. All right. The four-post driver.
Well, of course, we didn't have to install that in the pond.
No. I think we got it going on here. Snug this guy down. This is low pressure anyway, so we don't have to worry about it. We're gonna loop this right over top of our post, and it's off the ground. Is the pipe sinking?
Yep, it's submerged now. Hey, one trick that I've learned while doing this,
Yeah.
keep one hand on the ball valve,
And turn it off and take a break.
Turn it off, breathe,
Yeah.
and then
Seth, you're telling me tricks after he's telling me, he said, you know, I've learned a lot by doing this. Just turn the ball valve on and off instead of holding it with your tongue. This is work too.
Yeah, it is.
I got water.
How's it taste?
Yeah. My siphoner is a lot more than... I'll tell you about the pneumonia tomorrow. Okay, any air could cause a hiccup and cause the ram pump to not work. So we want it to be smooth, just like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna hook up to the ram pump, right?
Yep, that's right.
I want our valve to be in the up position if possible. And
You can always close your valve if you don't want it to spray in your face.
yeah, this valve?
Yep, that's the one.
That one, right?
Well, so what's going to happen first is the delivery pipe is going to start filling up to match the pond level.
Okay.
And after that's done, then we'll be ready to start pushing the waste valve. So whenever we start the pump, there has to be enough water in the delivery pipe going up the hill, or the pump won't work. So I'm going to be pushing the waste valve down several times, and it's going to put some water going uphill until we have enough pushing back down on the pump that it will cycle on its own. After some time, we've managed to get the pump running nicely. Let me show you a few things that could be done to prevent the issue we were having. We believe that an air pocket was trapped in the drive pipe. And to eliminate that, there are a couple things we can do. Notice how the drive pipe is coming through the culvert, which is the highest point of the whole setup. And then it comes over here into the pond. If you watch the drive pipe right about where my shadow is, you'll see ripples coming off of that. The whole pipe is kind of snaking around in the water with each cycle. That is a huge efficiency loss that's happening. So if we were to take this same pipe and siphon water from here through the culvert and have a little bucket catchment set up right over here, it would always siphon water into that bucket, and then you could use that as your new source going down to the pump so that it always had downhill from that point. Because currently we have got the culvert that is a high spot and a potential air trapment. And then also we'll be able to lock down this pipe in that whole distance here using either rocks or some kind of other fasteners. Whenever you're down pushing the waste valve, you can also come up the hill and tap. So that right there has water in it. And you can just keep moving up to see at what level you have water. So we've got water right here, but none here. So we are getting close. About right there. Now we're here. So with each cycle of the pump, it's going a little bit further. So we're right there now. It's pretty good timing.
Seth is the water whisperer. Look at him. He's whispering the pipe up here. He's like, it's almost there.
Yep. We're at this point right here.
Yep.
And climbing.
Yeah! That looks pitiful, doesn't it?
It'll increase a little bit more.
Awesome.
The pump's been running now for about 10 minutes, and you can see how much water is now in the bottom of this tank. Now we did use a float valve. Let me see if I can get you a close-up of that. So as the tank fills, it will close this off and stop the pump, and when it opens back up, it will continue to fill. Now the ram pump will continue to pump down in the creek even though the delivery pipe has been closed off.
Dude, do I need to get back in the pond or not? Permission to put shoes on.
Yes, please do. I had a great time filming with the Stoney Ridge Farmer. He's a fun guy to be around. If you want to watch his version of the ram pump, I will have a link to his channel in the description down below. Keep in mind, I do have the ram pump for sale, links in the description as well. Thanks for watching. I'm Seth, the Ram Pump Wizard, and I'll see you in the next video.